तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
मा कुरु धन जन यौवन गर्वं हरति निमेषात् कालः सर्वम्। मायामयमिदमखिलं बुद्ध्वा ब्रह्मपदं त्वं प्रविश विदित्वा। विनयामिन्यौ सायं प्रातः शिशिरवसन्तौ पुनरायातः। कालः क्रीडति गच्छत्यायुः तदपि न मुञ्चत्याशावायुः। काते कान्ता धनगतचिन्ता वातुल किं तव नास्ति नियन्ता। त्रिजगति सज्जन सङ्गतिरेका भवति भवार्णवतरणे नौका। जटिलो मुण्डीलुञ्चितकेशः काषायाम्बर बहुकृतवेषः। पश्यन्नपि च न पश्यति मूढो युदरनिमित्तं बहुकृतवेषः। अङ्गं गलितं पलितं मुण्डं दशनविहीनं जातं तुण्डम्। वृद्धो याति गृहीत्वा दण्डं तदपि न मुञ्चत्याशापिण्डम्। अग्रे वह्निः पृष्ठे भानुः रात्रौ जुगुकसमर्पितजानुः। करतलभिक्षस्तरुतलवासः तदपि न मुञ्चत्याशापाशः। कुरुते गङ्गासागरगमनं व्रतपरिपालनमथवा दानम्। ज्ञानविहीनः सर्वमतेन मुक्तिं न भजति जन्मशतेन। सुरमन्दिरतरुमूलनिवासः शय्या भूतलमजिनं वासः। सर्वपरिग्रह भोगत्यागः कस्य सुखं न करोति विरागः। योगरतो वा भोगरतो वा सङ्गरतो वा सङ्गविहीनः। यस्य ब्रह्मणि रमते चित्तं नन्दति नन्दति नन्दत्येव। भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीता गङ्गाजललवकणिका पीता। सकृदपि येन मुरारिसमर्चा क्रियते तस्य यमेन न चर्चा।
What is the worry over your wife, wealth, O distracted one? Is there not for you the Ordainer? In the three worlds, association with the good alone becomes the boat to cross the sea of existence. So in verse 13, he is talking about what is the worry that a person goes through, again connected to his own acquisition and enjoyment. Here generally refers to the usual samsaric terms that are used common, which is the wife and the son. So we concluded in the last class by saying that if you analyze any aspect of your worry, at least later you do that. At the point of time of worrying, we may not be able to do. Later you break it down and see what is the actual worry about. Really, there is nothing to worry. Those things which are in your control, try to do the remedial action for it so that you are rectifying the matter. Again, there if you keep on worrying, you will not be able to execute the actions properly. So there is no point worrying there. Worrying only takes away the energy of your mind in a different direction. So your intellect is not available to attend to the matter in hand. Those things which are not in your control, what is the point in worrying about them? Like the famous verse in Gita, it says, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu, dhruvam janma mritasya cha, tasmat apariharyeti natvam shochitum arhasi. Immortal verse 27 of chapter 2 Gita, it says, for every birth there is a death, and for every death there is a birth. Why grieve about the inevitable? He is talking to Arjuna from the practical point of view, because Arjuna is worried about whether he is going to kill his own guru, his own grandfather. He gave all the explanation with reference to the Atma that is indestructible. But even you look at it from the practical angle, birth and death are inevitable cycles. Okay, the war is not fought. Is Guru Dronacharya and Bhishmacharya, they are going to live forever or what? Wherever there is birth, death is inevitable. Wherever there is death, birth is inevitable. This is a cycle that is going on. In this cycle, if you understand, what is there to grieve about? There is nothing to grieve about. This forms the crux of Swamiji's seminar on stress management. Over those which you have no control, assess it properly and understand it at the intellectual level. There is no point grieving over it. He says, Vatula kim tava nasti niyanta. Is there not an ordainer for you? So how do we actually practically take this worry off our head? Worry comes when you put it upon your head and say, I am responsible for it. Even if the intentions are right, instead of caring and focusing on the issue or situation, slowly without our wanting, the issue focuses upon later I who is worrying. It slowly transforms itself into a egoistic issue. This naturally comes. It is I who is responsible. I am responsible for the family. I am responsible for everything. This class cannot happen without me. This knowledge cannot be spread. Each and everything it is there. So what happens if today there is no taxi, then who will take the class? Something or the other we keep on worrying because the focus shifts upon I. But he says, just think about it. All the activities that you do, each and everything, are you really responsible for it? No, you are not responsible for it. There is a mysterious superpower which is taking care of everything. That is why in the 11th chapter of Gita, Krishna says, oh Arjuna, even without you, all these people will be dead. All these people will be dead even without you. In that Vishwarupa form, he says, Krishna says. Therefore, he says, you become a mere instrument. Nimitta matram bhava savya sachin. Very famous verses. All Bhishma, Drona, Karna, everybody will be finished off. You are not required. It will be done. If at all, you play your part as an instrument. Nimitta matram bhava savya sachin. Very beautiful word that is used there. Savya sachin. Mostly in Gita, you will find wherever Krishna and Arjuna are giving proper names to each other and calling. Almost all the time, you will find that the right word finds in the right context. Whenever there is an emotional appeal, you will find Krishna using the word Kaunteya, which is his Kunti's son, which is his relative. Whenever he wants to pep him up with a valor, he will say Uttishta Mahabaho. Mahabaho means mighty armed. Parantapa means scorcher of foes. Various names of Arjunas are there. And here only one context where he uses this word of Arjuna, Savyasachi. Savyasachi means
Dexterity with both hands.
Ambidextrous person who can shoot the arrow with left hand also, though he is right-handed. He is a ambidextrous person. Arjuna was such a talented person. What is the implication here? Implication is, however great a talent you have, even then, don't consider that you are doing the action. You are instrument in the hands of the Supreme. You become a mere instrument. See, it is understandable that if a man has got talent and he is executing that talent, that this thought that I am doing this will automatically come there. So probably that is why he is using that particular term and saying, Nimitta matram bhava savya sachin. You become a mere instrument, O savya sachin, he says. So therefore, we have to just merely understand that somebody who has ordained everything is maintaining everything. It will get into dissolution on its own. Everything is well set in motion. Ganga has started flowing. We do not know when, and it will continue to flow. You cannot say that, I have poured a bucket of water, therefore it's my contribution or anything like this. It is just that from time immemorial it's going on. Exactly like that, the whole universe, the entire, we do not know when. It is meticulously functioning from time immemorial. Even as we talk about the last century or last few decades where there has been a considerable, within quotes, damage done to the world, basically because of man's interference, climate change, species getting extinct, global warming, and sea level rising, various petrol will be out of situation, various things, and there could be some of the real issues also. We are not denying that. Compared to the entire age of the universe, what is this actually? Billions and billions of years is the time cycle of the universe. You are talking about 100 years, basically nothing. It's a speck. Nature knows how to balance itself. That does not mean we should not be aware and we should not take proper steps. But that I am the person who is reforming the world and otherwise there's a doomsday. All this is not in our interest to approach it this way. Swami Ramtirtha says, those who end up reforming the world or those who try to reform the world, they end up as deforming the world. Physician, heal thyself. Physician, heal thyself, he says. You have to reform yourself. That is our prime objective. Now, there is a beautiful pattern in which the entire universe is functioning. You look at it from microcosmic point of view also. Even in your daily activities, each and everything that you do, it's actually done by that supreme power which is functioning within you also. That power which functions in the macrocosmic universe, it is the same power which functions in the microcosm also and makes everything happen. So do you mean to say that then I don't go, I don't earn money, you do your karma. But imagine even the basic activities around which the life sustains about. The thing which is eating, who produces the food, who is digesting the food, who creates that hunger in you, who is making every physiological functions in you happening. So therefore, if you analyze like this, each and everything is done meticulously for our own benefit in the most proper way by some power. We need to recognize this, and in fact recognizing this power, that awareness is the starting point of real bhakti. And then what you do? Then you just surrender unto that power, let it function through you, that's all. Then what should I do? You just fit into that scheme of things. Whatever is your karma, you just simply do it without any frills attached to it. That's all it is. So this must be the attitude in this case. Therefore, what is there to worry about? Suppose if a man says, without me there will be definitely a financial trouble, who will take care of my wife? Who will take care of my child? You do generally what is to be done in terms of what we discussed in the last class about, take an insurance policy and all those things, planning you do. But there is no guarantee that if you are there, everything will be 100% proper. And there we have seen in every case also, it's tragic that if the head of the family or somebody dies away, within few years something happens and that family is also coming up well. So it is not that you are indispensable. Probably that is a turning point around which the son becomes even more responsible and he is even more doing better than what he was doing before. So you do not know the total scheme of things, how it operates. Each and everything that is actually bestowed upon us is a blessing for us. Sometimes we may realize it, sometimes we may not realize it, but what is being best for us is given. So if you understand this total scheme of things, really there is nothing to worry about at any point of time. Any disease that comes to you, any praise or even benevolence that comes to you, everything has to be taken as His prasad only. This is not just a tight practice that we do. Once with that awareness, it comes naturally, it comes automatically. You have to see it functioning, feel it functioning. That's all it is. So there is a niyanta. There is somebody who makes everything happen. There is somebody who makes the seasons change. There is somebody who makes this day and night go meticulously. There is somebody who maintains the order of birth and death meticulously. There is somebody who maintains all the systems within our body meticulously. All that we need to do is just recognize it. Or least that you can do is not to disturb this at least. Even if you eat some junk food constantly, the system functions in such a way that it throws it out and tries to save you, protect you. But despite that, you keep on doing it again and again. That is a person who is not really a Bhakta. Remember this. A Bhakta, devotee of God, no doubt all the practices of going to temple or chanting Vishnu Sahasranama and various other things that are associated with that, we are not saying anything against it. But who is doing something anti this functioning of the Supreme, he is not really practicing Bhakti. It is just to recognize this and make your life aligned along with this, that is Bhakti. So what is there to worry about? Like the person who is, we said in the last class, a person who is traveling on that horse, keeping the bundle on his head. What is the great achievement that he is doing? Just, the horse is carrying anyway. You just let it carry. Like that it is. So, in this context, we said it is important to read this great poem called The Olive Tree. It is there in the Vedanta treatise also. It is there in the poems book. There is a hermit. He desires olive oil for, he says, midnight watching, maybe to read. He wants olive oil. So therefore, he desires an olive tree. Okay. And then he plants the sapling. But time and again, he is demanding from God what he thinks is the best for the plant. He asks for rain. He asks for sun. He asks for frost. Everything is granted, but the tree dies. He goes to his brother hermit, another hermit who is not living probably in a conducive atmosphere that he is, but in a rocky cell, he says. And there, his olive tree has grown very nicely. So he's asking, how is it that your tree has grown? A brilliant answer. We'll see that. Said an ancient hermit bending half in prayer upon his knee, oil I need for midnight watching, I desire an olive tree. See, the point here to be noted is that you have a proper sankalpa for the dharmic action is not prohibited. In 7th chapter, Krishna says, Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. I am that desire in you which is not contrary to dharma. I am that desire in you. Suppose if you are having a proper sankalpa, a genuine desire that you want to study the scripture, realize yourself, all this comes under the sattvic aspect of your personality, and that you need to have. That is why the intellect is able to focus such desires upon the higher. So, that a person desires genuinely, it is called as a sankalpa. Sankalpa means a proper thought which is there for a purpose. That sankalpa is there, that he desires a olive tree for what? Not for any commercial purpose that he is asking. He is asking for probably burning midnight lamp for reading purpose, which is very genuine. That is perfectly legitimate desire. Therefore, what he does, then he took a tender sapling planted before his cave, spread his trembling hands above it as his benison he gave. So he took a sapling and planted. That karma you have to do. Okay. Any proper desire, sankalpa that you have must be followed with action. Must be followed with action. Therefore, you have to plant that sapling, and he is sort of blessing the sapling. But he thought, the rain it needeth, that the root may drink and swell. God, I pray thee, send thy showers, so a gentle shower fell. Then immediately he thought that it needs rain. So he asked for rain, and a gentle shower immediately came. Lord, I ask for beams of summer, cherishing this little child. Then the dripping clouds divided, and the sun looked down and smiled. Then he immediately says, no, enough of rain. It needs sunlight. It needs summer. So I ask for beams of summer, he says, cherishing this little child. Then, so the clouds went, and then immediately the sun came. Send it frost to brace its tissues, oh my God, the hermit cried. Then the plant was bright and hoary, but at even song it died. For its tissues it needs frost. So, oh my God, hermit says immediately, give me that. The plant was bright and hoary. It was also granted, but at even song it died. That evening the plant died. Here we see in these three things, whatever petition he had asked for, it has been granted. Two things we have to note here. One is, the plant may need rain, the plant may need sunlight, the plant may need frost. When and how the plant needs all these things, who will know? The person who had created that seed and who will make it grow, he will only know. You may know generally that these are needed, but when and how and what doses it is needed, who will know? It is only he who will know. Okay? It is exactly like a person who wants to help that butterfly come out of the cocoon where there is a struggle. It has to go through the struggle, maybe 45 minutes to 1 hour it will go through that struggle because it is caught in that fine thread. So it is a struggle and struggle and struggle it has to go through, by which it has to emerge out. That is the plan of nature. In this process, what happens? The wings of the butterfly get all the nourishment and it becomes strong butterfly. This is how it is. A person who saw this flapping and he could not take the pain of the butterfly, slowly he went and cut that thread in order to help the butterfly. Intention is to help the butterfly, but it is coming out of his weak emotion because he is not able to bear the pain. That is the whole point. So he did not know the full plan of the nature, how it is there. In the process, he weakened the butterfly. The butterfly could not fly as much as it should. Probably it will, like how an eagle should fly, instead how a sparrow will fly, like that difference it was there for her. He has actually, in the process of helping the butterfly, done irreversible damage. Like they say, a very benevolent monkey. It saw in the flood, with all good intention, it saw a fish jumping out of water here and there. It thought that the fish is trying to get out of the water like itself. So it saved the fish and put it on the shore. It thought the fish was drowning. Very stupid thought of the monkey. It doesn't know what it is doing. Exactly like that. When and how it is required. So immediately you can't say, today give me rain, tomorrow give me sun, and tomorrow give me issue. He really doesn't know what it is there. Second point is, your karma is to plant the sapling. You have not created the seed of the sapling. That seed is not created by you. So what time it will take to mature, you have to allow it that growth. All that you need to do is plant it, maybe put a fence around it so that you give that initial protection from the other animals that will graze. Those are the karma that you are supposed to do. What is it that the plant needs at what point of time, that who will know? One who made it will know. So this is the aspect of surrender. Surrender is, you have taken a sankalpa, you are doing action about it, but we become very excited about the fruit of the action. We become very excited about that I am responsible for the execution and the fruit of the action. Therefore, throughout that action, we are so much longing for the fruit or so much excited about the very action itself, that itself actually spoils the action. You have to do that and just relax. This is what Swami Ramtirtha talks about as you have to rise above the desire for the desire to get fulfilled. He hasn't risen above the desire. He is just caught up in the circle of the desire that it should come, it should come. So he hasn't left it. The way to gain anything is to lose it actually. He hasn't lost it. He is holding on to it. In that holding on, he imposes his will upon the supreme will. It is like Arjuna taking over the reins of the chariot from Krishna. All that you need to do is hand over the reins of the chariot to him. You just fight. That's all. You do your thing. How and when it has to be taken, where it has to be taken, that he knows. So you have to give the reins of your life as it were to him. You just merely perform what is to be done. That's all, without any frills attached to it. Don't get excited about what is coming out of that action, or don't get too eager about the doing the action itself. You might end up spoiling the action. Send it frost to brace its tissues, oh my God, the hermit cried. Then the plant was bright and hoary, but even song, it died. Went the hermit to a brother sitting in his rocky cell, thou an olive tree possessest. How is this, my brother, tell? Rocky cell. He is deliberately probably putting rocky cell because the plant has grown well where there is rocks, where probably there is no conducive soil. The tree has grown well. He says, this person only, he says, I have planted one and prayed, now for sunshine, now for rain. God hath granted each petition, yet my olive tree hath slain. So in other words, when you are actually desiring and praying something, from your limited perspective when you are seeing, you really do not know what you are wanting. And then when the results come, oh, you cry at that point of time, I didn't ask for this. Actually, you had asked for this. When he asked for summer one day, when he asked for this one day, exactly like that, imagine how the parents are thinking what is in the best interest of their child, and they keep on imposing something. They end up like this, that they end up spoiling the children. So, it is not for you. So again, through you the child has come, you have certain duties and responsibilities. Do it without any frills attached. The child is not your, within quotes, creation. It is not your creation. He who created knows what it is best. Allow him to blossom it the same way just as the other person has allowed the olive tree to blossom. It will come out well. Because that is the nature. The nature of the any growth is that it will take its own time to blossom well and it will go through its course. So what is there for you to really worry about? Just do your karma. That's all it is. Now it is the important line that comes. Said the other hermit, said the other, I entrusted to its God my little tree. He who made knew what it needed better than a man like me. He who made, that is what is given in italics. This is not in the original. Swamiji has, in every poem you will find one or two lines like this. That is the key line in the poem. He who made knew what it needed better than a man like me. Laid I on him no conditions, fixed no ways and means. So I wonder not my olive thriveth whilst thy olive tree did die. In the commentary, the last paragraph, Swamiji says, the Lord's mysterious power sustains this vast universe. Everything works so meticulously, perfectly. The human intellect cannot conceive how different things and beings orchestrate themselves into the melody of harmonious coexistence in the universe. One ought not to disturb this harmony by one's personal preference and interference with nature. If you choose to assert your individual ego, the Lord then hands over you the reins of control. You then lose His grace and benevolence. Conversely, when you dissolve your ego and surrender to the total scheme of nature, you will receive the Lord's blessings. Remember, Lord's blessings, grace or benevolence is not preferential. It is universal, it is there for everybody. That is why He is Lord. But when you put a barrier around your head and do not allow the sun's rays to come in, you cannot blame the sun. All that you need to do is you demolish the temporary structure that you have done, and the sun's rays is always there to bless us. Like that, we have to understand. So, this aspect of surrender is what you have to remember, Vatula kim tava nasti niyanta. If you talk about even eating your own food, that which feeds millions and millions of mouths on a daily basis, not millions, billions. Each and every bacteria, each and every ant, each and every bee, each and every tree or a grass, everything is provided for. Okay, there is a grand scheme of things that is functioning. So for that power to take care of another 7 billion mouths is a problem. It is not at all a problem. It will easily. It is just that we have that vehement ego functioning that I am apart from this. Every creature has an ego, every creature has an individuality, but it is the man who asserts his individuality and wants to be separate from others as a separate entity. By choiceless situation, all other creatures fall into the scheme of nature by just like that. Unconsciously they do that. Since we have got a very conscious, being a conscious entity, we tend to stand apart in this scheme of nature. So this verse can be taken from this angle. Vatula kim tava nasti niyanta. O deluded one, is there not an ordainer for you? All that you need to do is just recognize it. This really does not mean that we stop our actions or be lazy. In fact, the moment we understand it, we will be even more dynamic and energetic. It is just that we will be just concentrating or focused on aligning ourselves with that Supreme Will. That's all. You will be very happy in doing what you are supposed to do. That's about all. That is the whole purpose of it. And then he says, in all the three worlds, association with the good, Trijagati Sajjana Sangati Reka Bhavati Bhavarnava Tarane Nauka. Therefore, what you should do, where you should start? Start again with Satsang. Satsang is one point that is emphasized. 9th verse talked about it. Here also he says, in all the three worlds, he says, anywhere, whatever experience you go through, even you can be in Swarga. Swarga is a higher realm of pleasurable experience. Hell is a lower level of experience where you are going through extreme pain and agitation. Remember this today. Based on the fruit of action, we may be anywhere. We can be in hell also, we can be in heaven also. Hell also, there are 7 types of hell, meaning various gradations. Heaven also, various gradations are there. But what great souls always ask for, if at all they ask for, is that wherever they are placed, that is by the fruit of your action, he is placing you wherever it is, that's okay. But wherever I am, please grant me only satsang. That's all. Wherever you are, if there is satsang, that place will not be a hell anymore. Any place for that matter. Even if you are in heaven without any satsang, it is not really useful. You will go through some extra pleasure, that's about all, and after the period is over, you will come back here. It is not a very big deal. It is not a very, after a point that itself becomes not very enjoyable in that sense. You don't relish it anymore. So, but irrespective of, even if a person is born in a Asuric family or he is among, we have seen Mahabali, we have seen Prahalada, they are all from the wombs of what is known as a Asura Parampara. But what is the greatness? While he was in the womb itself, his mother was in contact with sage Narada. Dhruva, same thing. He was born to a king and he went for a tapas. He was only seeking to sit near his father and he went for a tapas. There also he encountered Narada. So the greatness of such stories, wherever we see such people, they are blessed with satsang. They are blessed with that Sadguru. That becomes the boat. Once you are there, the boat takes all the rock and knock and shock in the journey. You are safe within that. Start with satsang, each and everything else will automatically follow. So when you are a satsang, think about the first line, you yourself will not worry. So that is the point. Our mind tends to worry. The mind has something to worry or not. It will go into the future anxiety, it will go into the past worries. This is the nature of the mind. So in order to make the mind stable, get into the satsang. Yes, you can get into the study, reflection and all parts of sadhana, but in the present level that we are, it becomes conducive if you are in a satsang. There is no wealth that you can gather for yourself or for your hereditary generations except company of the holy people, holy saints, sages. Nowadays, I would say we can use this technology also in a very positive way. that even if you find that you are alone, you have satsang in the form of a CD. Even as we go through this YouTube or Facebook and Twitter, it's usually whatever sangha that we try to create here, that is what we try to create there. But if you are careful enough, you can, even if it is inevitable, you try to create a satsanga there only. You know who to follow and what to read, what CD to listen to, or what YouTube channel to listen to. That itself becomes your private satsang. Imagine now if we can use the technology that way, that you can listen to Bhagavad Gita at any point of time. You can, reading is the best way, but reading is little difficult. But listening is even more easy. So, whether you want to sing bhajans, there are enough possibilities there. If you want to listen to stories, if you want to listen to Bhagavata or Bhagavad Gita, there is enough possibilities there. So why not we even use this technology also to our advantage? In that sense, that also becomes a satsang. Of course, there is no substitute to face to face and that vibration that you get in a group. But definitely we can make the next best alternative. So it is the association with good people that sustains the positive thoughts in you, and that will promote the growth of your intellect. In all the three worlds, he says, there is no substitute for this satsang. It is that boat which is going to take you up till the end also. That, what is the worry over your wife, wealth, O distracted one? Is there not for you the ordainer? In the three worlds, association with the good alone becomes the boat to cross the sea of existence. Yes, sir.
Can we draw a parallel between this and the Upanishad, Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapya, Bodhata?
I do not know if we can draw a parallel. In general, there can be a connection, but as we know that Upanishad talks from the very highest standpoint, and it is talking about always waking up a person to self-realization or God-realization, and definitely every Vedantic book, including Bhaja Govindam, ultimate aim is that only. But the adhikari and the theme with which Bhaja Govindam deals at the practical level, it is probably speaking to us, the masses, at a very average level also, to raise us to that level, so that we sometimes become ready for the words of the Upanishad. These words of Upanishad, definitely we can take it up now also and get inspired. But when will it really strike us deep down in the core of our heart, and the power with which it is said, that is when we become prepared at that level to receive that message. So that is how, that way we need not make a parallel.
So said to be a favorite in Swami
Vivekananda. Arise, awake and stop not till the goal is reached. It's verbatim taken from the Kathopanishad only. So various statements like that are like thunderbolt, lightning. It comes and strikes us. That is the level of the Upanishad. Nothing below that it will come and compromise it, because it is the ultimate of self-knowledge or Brahma Jnana, from where all these things is derived. But Bhaja Govindam is talking at more a practical level. For Adhikari who is different, that's all. Yes, sir.
So when you ask something from God, are you imposing your will over him?
Yes, you are. Why should you ask at all something from the God? You think about it. Why you should ask? There are two aspects. Look at it from even from the Vedantic point of view, that God is said to be all-knowing, omniscient. Okay? It is nothing that he doesn't know. That's the literal meaning as it is. Okay? So he knows everything. And not just he is all-knowing, he is all-compassionate. That every religion and every aspect of whichever school of thought you saw, God is the all-compassionate being is what is given. If God is all-compassionate and he is all-knowing, you think from now your microcosmic point of view, does he not know really what you need? He knows everything. And he knows everything, but is he like a statue? Is he not compassionate to make things happen for you also? He is doing that also, and he will do that also. But the moment we impose our will upon God, by saying that you give me this and you give me that and this. What we are doing actually unconsciously is we are lowering his status as an all-knower and an all-compassionate person. In other words, you don't know, I am telling you now what to do. Or you have not yet shown mercy upon me, please now show mercy. By saying that, we are actually lowering the status of God as it were. But having said that, it is the human tendency of the mind to go and submit to the God at a point when you feel very desperate and helpless. Okay. Now, at a time when you are not there, when we want to go through this knowledge and think, that time you think that desperate situation that you have created, what is the basis of that, or what is the legitimacy of your desire? I remember exactly what is being said in this verse only. Swamiji had finished his lecture here in G.D. Birla Sabhagar once. And as he was coming out, there are some people who know him, they do pranams or they have a word with him. One man came and said that, sir, please bless me, my daughter has to get married, He was very desperate about it. So Swamiji generally said, you just do your karma and everything will happen. This is what is going to happen. Again he said, sir, no sir, you bless, it should happen immediately like that. He again said, you just keep on doing your karma, whatever has to happen, you will deserve, it will come automatically. In its due course of time, it will happen. Again he emphasized. Then Swamiji said in a very powerful tone, let's say I bless and it happens, or not just because of my blessings. You force yourself upon God and your daughter gets married. Immediately, 3 months down the line, she becomes a widow. Would you like it? He was taken aback. And this type of language usually we don't relate to, somebody who is wanting to bless and benign. But he had to say like this to make that person understand that in your desperation, don't try to impose upon God your will. You are not really knowing what you are seeking. So because of the pressure of the desires, it may be granted. As he said, the reins will be given to you, but then you have to handle the whole thing that comes out of it. This happened in Mahabharata also. Satyavati was the queen. After Shantanu's death, Vichitravirya. Vichitravirya was her son. Vichitravirya married Ambika and Ambalika. There were 3 sisters, out of which 2 were married to Vichitravirya. Vichitravirya also died an early death. Okay, now the kingdom is without a king. So Satyavati became very desperate. So she, whenever there is problem in a very of deep nature, they immediately think of Vedavyasa, and he himself appears in various scenes in Mahabharata. Vedavyasa is also son of Satyavati. He is doing tapas. So because of her thought, he appears and he asks what is to be done. She says, this is the situation. Before that, she requests Bhishma. Bhishma being the elder brother, there is provision that if the kingdom doesn't have the king, then he can assume that role and he can father the children. But he was very strict in his vow of brahmacharya that he refused. Then she thought of her son, who is Vedavyasa, and Vedavyasa appeared and she said, this is the issue. He said, this can be sorted out by him, through him it can happen. It is called it's called niyoga. Niyoga means, it's samyoga and niyoga. Without even the actual physical coming together, he has that Shakti to produce the offspring through the lady there. Yeah. So therefore he said, but you have to wait for a year. I am in the middle of the tapas, which is not the conducive time. And he is saying that it will due course of time it will happen. Don't worry. This is exactly what he said. But She was so desperate at that point of time that she would not listen. Let it happen immediately. Let it happen immediately. Exactly like this hermit, she said. So when it is an adamant will like that, he had no choice. He said, whatever will happen, let it happen. And he said, okay. And that was the time when both Ambika and Ambalika could not take that power in the most conducive way that it should be taken. Ambika closed her eyes, and because of which Dhritarashtra was born. Ambalika became pale, because of which Pandu was born. Both were not normal. Pandu died an early death. Dhritarashtra was blind throughout his life. And since this had happened and he said, this is what will happen, I said, so she says, give a third chance. I'll send the daughter-in-law again. I'll explain to them. But both the daughters-in-law are now afraid to go at all. That is when they silently push their Dasi. She was the Satvik of all. So through her Vidura comes, but who is not eligible to rule, but he is like a advisor. So when a will is imposed upon the supreme will, that will may take precedence. But that may not be very conducive as far as that person is concerned. You really do not know what is coming out of it. A child is there. The child is having stomachache, but it is crying and saying that I want jackfruit. And who is the person who is having extreme concern about the child is the mother. The mother refuses to give jackfruit, and she says it's not for you, maybe later I'll get you. And like that she is persuading the child. But the child is so adamant, it is crying rolling on the floor, crying this, that, making tantrums. Without any choice, at a later point of time, she yields to it, but she is not very happy about it. She gives because of the tantrum of the child. The child goes through extreme pain at that point of time after eating. Then the mother only gives a slap to the child, puts him on the lap. Even though he even doesn't want, she gives castor oil or something to him, which is a very tough medicine for the child to take, but she has to give it because she is liking the child. She is compassionate towards the child and she knows what is the best for the child. It is like that. So when something is granted to us in a proper way, that is also his wish. But here the sukshma is that he is wanting us to grant us something which is more subtle. He is wanting to sort of grant himself, which is the state of self-realization. But you are adamant and you say you want name, fame, power. Okay, take it. Like that it is given. But then as you eat and you don't know how to handle, that is the time where again he only comes and gives a treatment of castor oil. At that point of time you may think that it is a very tough phase that you are going through, but you have asked for it and it is out of benevolence that it is given. It is because he is compassionate that he is given. It is being given to you. So when things are done, especially like this for us, there is no need for us to impose our will upon the supreme will at all. And yet, you can, understanding this, go to the Lord and say that you can just pouring out your emotions on him. That is okay. Just as Artha is a Bhakta who has nobody else in the world to pour out his emotions, it is too difficult to handle in a single way by himself, he goes to the Lord and cries. Having understood this, if you do that, I would say that is okay. But there is no need for you to have a specific charter of demands as to this and that, considering that this is the best. Some people, let's say, you pray that the child should go to America and study. All this seems to be like a normal, legitimate desire, and you are so desperate about it. But you have to understand what you are asking for is the whole package deal that will come along with it. See, suddenly suppose if he, let's say, marries an American girl there or something like that, which is again, we may argue it's right or wrong, that's not the point. But you have to understand this will also come. So when you ask for thing, you are not knowing exactly what are the other things as a package that will come along with it. Okay. So who will know the entire thing? One who has made everything, one who has correlated the microcosm and macrocosm, one who has correlated the Prakriti and Purusha, he knows the entire thing. The 5 elements relating with the individual in a totality way, he knows the entire thing. So it is better. So suppose in that, like that Ramakrishna Paramahamsa story only, we sit on the Kalpa Vriksha and we don't know what we are asking. Okay, now you have understood this. Now from I will think carefully and think about what is the best thing to ask. If you think carefully and deeply, finally, we will only come to the conclusion, I really do not know. You do what is best. You do what is best for me. So, it is, yep, there are two children. The two children, one child asks for money, 1 rupee or 100 rupees, whatever it is given to that. The other child doesn't ask for money, it goes with the father and he is there. So, the other child with its money given, whatever it can get, it will get. But this child, which has left to the thing of the will of the father, it will get whatever it wants through him, as it were. It has not got its own will, meaning it has not taken the reins upon itself to control its way. So, to answer your question directly, there's no need for us to impose the will on God in any way, for that matter. This understanding is the starting point of Bhakti as such.
So, but when you're doing Aradhana of Durga, Lakshmi or Saraswati, it is implied when you're doing Aradhana of Durga, it is for Shakti, and for Lakshmi, it is for wealth, and for Saraswati, it is for wisdom. So, isn't it implied that you're asking for that?
Okay, even if you imply that you are asking for something, the implication of, in fact, this Durga Puja is coming. Before I forget, this Tuesday we may not have the class because Tuesday we have this talk in the Shankara Hall, which is the starting day of the Navaratri, and the significance of Devi Upasana is what is the subject that is given. In the same Aarti also, in one of the Aartis that we sing, I say, Tan man dhan sab tera, sab kuch hai tera, tera tujhko arpan, kya lage mera. So, even if as you offer the flower to God, the understanding is who has created the flower, He has created the flower, and we are taking the same flower and offering back unto Him. So, what is it that we are doing? It is only the bhavana. It is only the devotion that is the aspect that is important here. So, when you do the Aradhana, all this this is called as Kamyartha Bhakti. Kamyartha Bhakti means doing Bhakti for the sake of fulfillment of a desire. That is also a Bhakta. Artha is a Bhakta. Artha is a Bhakta. That's why I said Artha is somebody who is not able to deal with emotions. Artharthi is somebody who wants something. And I would say that we need not condemn them. In fact, for the sake of Bhakti, even if you want to promote it, I would say promote it not in the sense of overtly promoting it, but at least you need not be obstacle to that. So if somebody wants to do it, let him do. If he is able to get the taste of what Bhakti is, even for fulfilling this, ultimately he will do the Bhakti for the sake of doing Bhakti, not for anything that you get out of it. So the Kamyartha Bhakti that you do, it is not implied in the shloka or the mantra that you do. It is implied in your heart which asks. Same shloka, same mantra, you can use it for Bhakti later, but the Sankalpa is different altogether. In the end of Vishnu Sahasranama, which is the 1000 names of the Lord, he says, Rogarto muchyate rogat, bhaddo muchyeta vandanat, bhayan muchyeta vidastu, muchyeta vanna apataha. Those who are having disease, they will be getting rid of disease. Whatever you want, what is this? Kamana vapniyat kami, prajati chapniyat prajam. One who desires whatever his desire will be fulfilled. One who desires progeny, he will get progeny. All this is given. If you study Vishnu Sahasranama, this is the Palashruti that they give. Palashruti is the way by which you are incentivized to get into it, to know the taste of it. You want to make the child know something at that level. You go to temple, then only I'll take you to restaurant. You do this puja and then do the homework, only then I'll give you chocolate. Something like that. At least for the sake of chocolate, will do it. But it is slowly getting trained to get a taste of what that bhakti is. So therefore, once you get that taste, you will not want to do it for the lower fruits that is coming out of it, because finally he says, I am giving myself. What else do you want? No, I want only the rupees. No, you won't ask that at that point of time. So to get a taste of all these things, we are introduced to bhakti with the incentives as the promotion. This will work even in corporates. In corporates, all over the world, what drives people to act is incentives. Apart from the salary, what do you give us? As if you make some points, you get an incentive, bonus, perks, and other things. But incentives is required to boost a person's productivity, because see, suppose if you don't give incentives, he is merely satisfied with 9 to 5 whatever he is doing, and he is not motivated to perform better. So moment you give incentives and he produces more now, because he is saying that if I do this, I am getting this, isme mera kya hai, that is answered. What does that incentive actually prove?
That you were not giving 100% previously.
It proves that you are much more capable of what you are actually producing. A person who is producing, let us say, X amount of sales in a company, he was doing normal and is getting his salary because there is no incentive for him to produce. The fact that now he has produced double and got more incentives shows that he is capable of producing. It was just that he was not inspired to do it. Incentives work in the short term like this. It boosts the productivity. But in the long run, it is not good for neither for the individual nor for the company. It kills the harmony and other aspects of it. That apart. Slowly, it has to turn into initiative. With knowledge, if he has understood the value of the work, the value and joy of doing his commitment towards the ideal, and then experiencing that whatever is required, more than that will come actually. He will be not looking forward to incentives, rather he will be working from the initiative from within. This is in fact the role of the management, to introduce the concept of initiative through knowledge and percolate it down the minds of every level of the organization, starting from top. They have to be having that initiation. Only then others will have initiation in the organization. But incentives in the beginning may boost up, little bit boost up. It will work. So similarly like that, even in spirituality, in order to draw him towards spirituality, in order to get him a taste of what it is, you have to give him some incentives so that he is drawn, who is already playing in the world, to give him equivalent to that something. This thing you can get here also. If you remember, so whenever we joined in our course time, actually what is being offered in academy is the self-knowledge and the chance to understand and practice it for 3 years, to lay the foundation. After 3 years, it is just you are prepared to meet life. And then it is a lifetime course for you to continue. Okay. But I distinctly remember, for all of us and to many students, most of us join at the time where you are getting into career, or you are into 1 year or 2 years like that. So Swamiji says and quotes a couple of examples who are there before. See, this person just finished the course and he was not even a graduate before. Just like that, he passed the exam. That person was called in Muscat and they wanted him to get into the job. And these are all facts, not to as a lie he is saying. But as you then get into the course and understand that what is being given there and what is the utility of it is much, much more than making a living out of it. But unless otherwise that is said, if your worry is taking care of family, or if your worry is earning money, don't worry about it. That will be taken care of. That is not a very big deal. If he says, no, this spirituality and materiality, they don't go together, then nobody will probably be inspired to join at that point of time. So whatever is required will be taken care of. Saying that you give him and introduce him, you don't worry, you don't even think about in those lines. You only introduce the higher taste for him there. He himself will automatically or should automatically graduate to that level of relationship with the knowledge. Then the other things sink into insignificance. That is the way. So, if a person is singing even with deep conviction about the Aradhana and other thing, because of which he is going to gain, I would say let us not discourage or stop him. Let him do with that sincerity. But sooner or later, by God's grace, by Guru's grace, again by Satsang, he will turn the same thing into a different form of a worship. That's how it should be taken.
Sorry, one last thing. So can we compare this to Arjuna asking for the Lord himself and Duryodhana asking for the army? So when you ask something, when you ask for the God himself, so then you get everything.
Right, in a way right. When you ask for the highest, everything else is taken care of. But you must consciously seek that higher, understanding the value of it. That's it. We'll chant verse 14 twice and then we'll take it up later.
जटिलोमुण्डीलुञ्चितकेशः काषायाम्बरबहुकृतवेषः पश्यन्नपि च न पश्यति मूढो ह्युदरनिमित्तं बहुकृतवेषः जटिलोमुण्डीलुञ्चितकेशः काषायाम्बरबहुकृतवेषः पश्यन्नपि च न पश्यति मूढो ह्युदरनिमित्तं बहुकृतवेषः.
One with matted locks, one with head shaven, one with hair pulled out, one disguised variously with ochre robes. A fool, though seeing, sees not. Indeed, the varied disguise is for the sake of belly. Very powerful verse, which will continue in the next class. Nama Paramarshva.
Poornam Adah, Poornamidam, Poornat Poornamudachyate, Poornasya Poornamadaya, Poornamevavashishyate.